listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast, coming to you from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. Your source for UFC news, previews, and post-fight coverage. Hosted by your favorite duo, Daryl and Asher. Let's get it started.
Hello, guys, and welcome back to the MMA Brothers Podcast. It's Daryl.
It's Asher.
And we have a special guest on the podcast today. It's Cooper. Cooper, how are you doing?
I'm good. What's up, guys?
Doing
we're
good,
doing
man.
Well, you know, I'm pretty excited about the Conor event. I'm pretty distraught, but I'm pretty excited about the future of the lightweight division. What did you think, Asher?
Yeah, I mean, it was tough to see, obviously, McGregor taken out. Like, a lot of fans are gutted. But then again, Poirier has been active. Poirier has been fighting the killers of the 155 division. He has won, like, what? Before coming to this fight, I think he won 4 of his last 5.
Hey, let's save that for then. I meant your general feelings about today, the fights.
Yeah. But you know what I mean. I'll get deeper into Poirier and the McGregor fight. But let's start at the bottom of the card. We're not going to waste too much time on the earlier fights because we know a lot of people that are listening don't really care too much about those. But I'm share the screen now, and I'm going to show you the Marina Rodriguez versus Amanda Ribas. Quickly speaking, obviously, it's more of a striker versus grappler in this fight. Ribas has that amazing jiu-jitsu, as everybody knows. So Marina Rodriguez has some nice hands. Ribas in the first round was able to take her down. Second round, Ribas was putting some pressure, but Marina Rodriguez landed that I think it was a right hook that dropped her, right? Face planted her. Herb Dean. I understand what Herb Dean was doing because you could see Ribas was kind of like hooking Rodriguez's leg, like she was about to make her way up, but then Herb was about to go, and then he's like, "Oh, I think she's good." And I think he made a little bit of contact with her, so then like she got confused, right?
Yeah, you had to feel bad for Herb Dean there because, man, the guy's just so perfect, and you can see it in his face. You can tell he just didn't want to affect the fight in any way.
You don't want to have an early stoppage as a ref, but then you also don't want to have a late one. So it's like if the fighter gets up and says, "Yo, dude, I was defending myself. Like I was replying to your commands. Like, why did you stop the fight?" You know what I mean? So it gets kind of dicey. So I understand why Herb didn't, like, he was about to go in, and then I think he saw Amanda like spring up to life and like kind of work her way up. You know what I mean? You might have seen something from her.
And I just think, like, thank God we got exactly what we needed. Rodriguez went out and finished the fight, and
exactly
that's just, you know, that's probably the kind of karma that Herb Dean carries around the UFC.
Yeah, and no, that's a very good point. But we'll move on to Andrew Sanchez versus Mahmoud Muradov. So this was I forget the division. I think it's welterweight or middleweight, one of the two.
I think it's 205, if I'm not mistaken.
Is lightweight?
Oh no,
no way.
Light heavyweight, you mean?
No, not light heavyweight. Sorry, I'm pretty sure this is the 170 or 85.
Oh, okay, my bad.
So these two fights, it was a very interesting fight. Andrew Sanchez, he was preparing for Ottman, the guy who we did the preview on. This was a very good fight. Mahmoud this is his third round TKO victory in a row. It was a very interesting fight. Both fighters were super active. I just felt that Sanchez was kind of lackluster in his jab, and Mahmoud was piecing him up and timing that right hand until it finally landed. I liked what I saw from Mahmoud. I'd like to see him fight someone in the top 15. Sanchez wasn't preparing for a guy like Mahmoud. He's preparing for Ottman. So kind of
this fight isn't Ottman. Ottman was a 155er, so they was preparing for someone else. This fight was in middleweight.
This fight was a middleweight. Then who was Sanchez supposed to fight?
No, I'm not sure, but he definitely was prepared for a striker, and he was prepared for a guy who was coming in throwing heavy shots. He definitely wasn't prered for the grappling that he was given.
Remember.
And you know, in one way, you have to give it to Mahmoud, but you can't blame. You know, you can't have it way too heavily on Sanchez for the loss.
I know. It's Matt Favela or something was his name. The guy who was supposed to fight Ottman.
That's the one. I'm getting them confused. But Sanchez, this is also a replacement fight, though.
Okay. I according to Cooper, it is. I didn't know that, but
I remember.
That's Ottman. No, that was the Frivola. That was the main event of the prelim.
So this is the fight that he prepared for.
Yes, I think this is the fight they prepared for. Sorry, guys, we got the two of them confused. They're both unknown people, so like it's very easy to confuse the two. But we'll move on to Jessica I versus Joe.
Are you intoxicated or something?
No, so with Jessica and Joanne, this was a very interesting fight because you saw a totally different stylistic matchup. Jessica was coming in with trash, and Joanne was coming in with Muay Thai clinches and an actual game plan instead of getting hit in the face and not having anything to return with. I thought that there was relatively no power in both ladies' strikes. Like they were both absorbing a ridiculous amount of strikes in the clinch. And
yeah,
it's
I don't know if that. I will say this about Calderwood's performance. That's the best Muay Thai performance I've seen since watching the UFC.
Yeah, she is very Silva-esque. She'd reach for like the lead leg, protect herself from getting kneed, and then she would clinch up and then she timed very good uppercuts, knees to the body. We were very good. I really like Joanne's performance. Do I think she's gonna trouble Valentina in any way? There's levels, man. That's all I gotta say. There's levels. Good for Joe. Maybe fight the number 1 ranked lady in the division. Maybe that's where you go from here. But neither of these ladies are causing Valentina to stay up at night. What did you think, Asher?
It was good. Joanne Calderwood, she showed, like Cooper said, some of the best Muay Thai I've seen in a while. Jessica Ai was like a walking punching bag that was throwing back at some points, especially in the third round. I don't know how she was taking she had her moments, but I don't know how she was taking those body shots because I thought she was gonna fall.
Those knees in the clinch were nasty, and she really is like she was dragging her around in the Thai clinch like you would. It's not you don't see people be dominated by Muay Thai in the UFC often. So I enjoyed the fight and it was good to see.
Yeah, Joanne looked good. So I'm sure now that she's beat Jessica Ai, she may be asking for Shevchenko next because now she's got a win under her belt. But again, this women's division honestly is really depleted. There's not a lot of talent at 125, so I wouldn't be surprised if Joanne gets the title shot next. But
Daryl says no. I say let's see it. Why not?
Why not? Let's just see Shevchenko murder another person. So
yeah, exactly.
We're gonna move on to the co-main event of the evening. So this one we had Michael Chandler versus Dan Hooker. This fight was really, really tough because like both of them are really nice guys, and it's just like which nice guy is gonna fall. You know what I mean? Like if you watch all the embedded series, they seem like just really, really genuine dudes that you want to see both of them win. One thing I did not understand why Dan Hooker was so like not relaxed, but so inactive. Like he threw like 8 strikes. He landed 8 strikes the whole first round.
No, he threw 19, landed 8.
Well, and he's the longer guy, and he's trying to make sure the shorter, more powerful guy Chandler doesn't get inside. He was trying to establish his range.
Yeah, and you can't throw naked kicks, dude.
Yeah, like, Chandler busted through his range early.
You have to stifle the forward pressure by disguising the kicks with your hands, right? We've seen what happens a la Corey Anderson. I was going to say Corey Booker. A la Corey Anderson, where you throw a naked kick and then you get a right hand down the gullet and then you're down. You know what I mean? I just think that it was a perfect game plan by Henry Hooft and Michael Chandler, where you're going to distract him with the right hand to the body. When he drops his hand, you come over top with the left hand. And Michael's just had knockout power his whole career. And I was very happy for Michael. I want to see him face Khabib next, just because we've seen every other matchup that's potentially there.
We'll get to this.
And I just think it's nice to see something new. Yeah, Dustin finished McGregor, but McGregor's last fight was against Cerrone. If you faced every other Donald Cerrone victor, a lot of them would fall to top-level competition. Not to say Conor just had ring rust. Great performance by Dustin. We'll get into that later. But Michael Chandler, I think he deserves a title shot because no one else unless he faces Justin Gaethje next, but I don't see why he needs to prove himself twice as the former Bellator champion to fight the current lightweight champion when he just knocked out the top 6 guy as a former. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I see what you're saying. We'll get into we'll talk about the next fight specifically, but I'll talk about this fight right now. Man, Michael Chandler, holy shit. Welcome to the UFC, eh? What a performer this guy is. Mm-hmm. Like that, what he said post-fight was just like magical. Got my heart going. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I want to see from a guy coming in from a promotion that most people would consider less than. So good for him.
No, 100%. And like I'm sure like you guys had echoed that Michael Chandler was so hyped to see Dustin Poirier win instead of Conor McGregor because he knew if McGregor win, then Dana White was obviously going to set up McGregor to if Khabib did not retire. So this is Michael Chandler's reaction as soon as he saw McGregor fall.
I want to see Dana White's reaction when he saw McGregor fall.
This nigga knew is like, fuck.
That's fucking illegal.
Yeah, like he must have been so cheesy. Like my money bag.
Yeah, he saw money dripping from the UFC.
He was so mad.
This is number one bullshit.
He's a superstar.
Anyways, let's move on. Congrats to Michael Chandler. But yeah, main event of the evening: Conor McGregor versus Dustin Poirier. So I'm happy the way McGregor came out. He didn't do the power walk. He seemed very focused. Like it really from the beginning bell, like he came out and he had his hands high and like he was trying to land that left hand right from the jump. Like Cooper said in the beginning of this episode, he thought that the reason why the leg kicks landed a lot easier on McGregor is because McGregor was so focused on counter striking the leg kick with the left hand that he wasn't focused on checking it too much. He's just like, hey, if he throws a leg kick, I'm just going to throw this left straight down the gun instead of him focusing on checking it. So you can only take so many leg kicks. It doesn't matter how strong and how tough you are. Your leg will start to go dead. And if you can't put weight, and McGregor doesn't like to fight. He can switch stances, yes, but he doesn't like to stand in an orthodox stance for too long. He's only going to do it for a little bit, throw like a right hook or something, then go back to his left hand again. So the first round was quite competitive. I was actually shocked with some of the punches that Dustin was able to eat for McGregor. So Dustin's chin at 155, man, like it's something because the shots that this guy has taken from whether it's Justin Gaethje or Eddie Alvarez or whoever, name all of them at 155 that have thrown their best shot at Dustin Poirier and he's hung in there. I know he's moving with the punches too, so it's not landing 100% flush, but McGregor hit him with some solid strikes and he stood in there. So yeah, second round, I think what happened in the fight ending sequence is when McGregor was trying to land one of his strikes, I think he tried to counter one of his leg kicks again with his left hand, but
it was a Poirier check hook.
Yeah, exactly, right? So and then Poirier, something about Poirier along the fence, bro. He does this like every fighter too, right? He just sneaks one in there that like rocks you, and then McGregor, you could tell he was a little wobbled. And I saw him wobble a bit. I was like, uh-oh, here we go. And this is what Poirier does every time he's by the fence and he's got you just hurt a little bit. Then he starts to throw 10, 15 strikes, and then eventually you're gonna fall. And then that little like uppercut is what dropped McGregor. And I've never seen McGregor get TKO. I don't think he's ever been TKO'd in the UFC. This is his first TKO finish ever. Because he lost to Diaz was submission. When he lost to Khabib was submission. This is the first time Conor McGregor has ever been TKO'd.
This is the first time Conor McGregor has ever been outstruck. And
yeah, by one strike.
One strike, yes, but also with Poirier, he got in that. It was the same switch that flipped in, I believe, the Aldo fight.
Mm-hmm.
Am I correct? That's the one where he saw red and he just.
Are you talking
a flurry of punches?
You're talking about when Poirier was going against Eddie Alvarez? Is that what you're talking about? Or
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. It was the same flip that switch that flipped in the McGregor fight tonight. That he saw the finish ahead of him, and he just and when he landed the last right, I believe it was, that really put McGregor down. It was, yeah.
Yeah, it was sad to see McGregor fall, but yeah, congrats to Poirier. I don't really have too many bad things. Also, McGregor in the post-fight interview said like, hey man, those leg kicks were good. And I'm sure he's not going to be talking about his leg like he was talking about his foot.
My foot was a balloon.
Yeah, you know what? Like, I echo the testament of both of you guys. There is something to be said of game planning. I think that Conor now, he knows that leg kicks are a serious threat. He's always going to do better in the rematch. And I just think that Dustin, that fight only happens once out of 10 times, I think. I think that Conor getting finished by Dustin is not a regular occurrence. If you run that series back numerous times, I think that Dustin was rolling with the punches. If Conor wanted to go in for the kill, when he had stunned Dustin a few times, he could have gone for the finish, but he was super patient. And that did work against him today, because when he landed the left hand on his chin and the right hand, Dustin was his eyes open and he's moving backwards. Dustin, when the same thing happened, roles reversed, he went for the kill. Conor gave him time to gather himself again. So I think that if Conor is able to check those leg kicks, striking wise, I don't think Dustin's a better striker than Conor. I just think Conor's game plan was not checking kicks and knocking them out. You know what I mean? It's like eat one to return one, but then he didn't count on the leg kicks being so effective.
I see what you're saying, but I also do think when it came down to it and they were standing in front of each other, Poirier outboxed McGregor tonight as well. And to be honest, the only good thing I have to say,
look at the numbers though. Like those 53 strikes, how many landed when Conor was stunned?
Because I think Conor got off to a better start, and I think Poirier turned it around.
What I'm saying is, if we were to count how many strikes he landed when Conor got stunned by the right hand, we're looking at maybe 13, maybe 14 strikes.
Strikes alone aren't all you have to look. Like we're talking about like round altering strikes. Like Poirier was
100%. But what I'm saying is,
Poirier looked good tonight. You can't deny that. You can't just
he was backing up majority of the time. And he shot. You got a takedown on Conor because he got hurt on the feet. He shot for a takedown. The takedown lands on the feet. Dustin was getting pieced up by Conor's left hand. Conor was just refusing to check leg kicks. His leg gets compromised. Then he starts having to lean in and do like awkward motions with his left hand. He never leaves himself that exposed to get countered.
So I guess I don't want to take away from what Poirier did tonight. And ultimately what he did, he outstruck the best striker, one of the premium strikers in MMA.
And 100%, yes. But also understand the fact that Dustin's leg kicks set that up.
So now this is where we're going to start to get into the conversation of who deserves the title fight, because I know I think Tyson Chandler deserves it.
Michael Chandler.
I think, and I agree that's the best fight because of the wrestling and the grappling. But man, how can you say that Poirier doesn't deserve it now?
Because we've seen it, and it was very recent. It's not like he fought Khabib 5 years ago, and he's miraculously better fighter.
I kind of agree with Daryl on this one. I think either Michael Chandler or Charles Oliveira deserve it, or maybe Michael Chandler and Charles Oliveira should fight for who's going to fight Khabib next by the end of the year.
I said Poirier versus Chandler who fights Khabib next. But
this is my whole thing with the whole Charles Oliveira. Yes, Khabib will fight Charles, but do you guys want to see two dudes wrestle? Like, I'd rather watch Jordan Burroughs versus Ben Askren. I'd rather watch I'd rather watch WWE. Like, this is going to be the most boring fight we've ever seen.
But when you have to boil it down to, is there a person that can beat the greatest fighter of all time? You have to pick the fight that has the best chance of actually beating the greatest fighter of all time. The best chance of beating
a wrestler is not another wrestler. It's a striker.
I don't know if I think like maybe a better, like well-rounded fighter. Like Chandler that we saw tonight. Oliveira is also well-rounded. We've seen him strike as well.
So name where wrestler has beaten another wrestler through wrestling.
Okay, I don't know. I'm just saying I think if you have to pick the two best fights to actually try to beat Khabib, it's Chandler and then Oliveira.
Okay, but based off of your own logic, I'm asking a question. Asher, you can answer this too. When has a proficient wrestler beaten another proficient wrestler by just wrestling?
You could argue that Gaethje's a wrestler and Khabib just beat Gaethje, a wrestler.
But Justin doesn't use offensive wrestling.
He was training wrestling leading up to that fight. I can tell you that.
Yeah, defensive wrestling, not offensive. There's a difference. Two offensive wrestlers
it's definitely. I just feel bad for Dana because this guy was like, yeah, man, Conor Khabib too, right? Yeah, and I'm like, okay, Dana, relax. Poirier is a beast, and then Conor needs to go through him. And yeah, man, it's tough because like I know. Okay, so this is another situation, right? So you're saying Dustin Poirier deserves the next title shot, right?
I'm saying this guy's been such a company guy. I'm saying this guy has had one of the biggest careers, and he just knocked out your number one superstar. How are you going to take that away from him for a guy who just came over from Bellator and has one fight in your league?
Listen,
what about the rematch?
We've already seen it. Khabib,
I know Poirier's not going to get it.
I know. I'm just giving you the title shot. I understand that, but how do you take that away from Poirier like that?
We've already seen it.
You just give him, but you promise him the winner.
And it's recent. We've seen it. It was recent.
And you promised him the winner?
I didn't Dana White say the winner of this fight would probably get a title shot? Didn't he say that?
Yeah, but dude, I think Chandler's performance was more impressive.
Okay, this is one thing I was gonna say. There's no way it's gonna be Dustin Poirier. Do you know why? Because Conor McGregor is going to tell Dana White, I don't care. It's me, Poirier, next 3. He's not going to go face Nate Diaz next or whatever. He's going to say, yo, me and Poirier are going to go again. This summer, it's going to happen at some point in July in Vegas or something. Poirier,
instant rematch.
McGregor, instant rematch, 3, right? For the winner, blah, 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 and stuff like that.
Asher, but Daryl had a great fight match. I want to know what you think about this. What would you think about Conor and Tony this summer?
No. He's not gonna want Tony has lost what? Like I guess his last 2, same as McGregor actually. McGregor's not lost his last 2 fights.
But like McGregor said,
sorry, he beat Cowboy. So he lost to Khabib, then Cowboy he won, then he lost to Poirier.
Listen, at the end of the day, I just think the blueprint for this is you give Michael Khabib, he gets through Khabib, or Michael gets stopped by Khabib. Whoever that winner is gets Dustin. We like Justin.
I can live with that.
Or you do Justin Gaethje, right, versus Michael Chandler, and the winner of that gets Khabib. We don't need to see Dustin versus Khabib. We know what's gonna happen.
I'm like 99% sure it's gonna be this exact same result. Poirier fights Khabib.
It doesn't
like literally like the standout won't even matter because Khabib is just gonna grab Poirier and do the exact same thing he did the first time.
I love Gaethje Poirier, and I would love to see that as a.
But he's already beat him.
A fight to throw the.
Like we want to see something new. Like we don't need to see. Like to me, if I'm Dustin, I would rather take Conor too, because I'd get paid more than Khabib.
Yeah, but do you think Dustin needs to do that right now?
He doesn't need the title. Like he said, like I don't even love fighting.
That's true. He wants the money fights. That's what he said.
Just get the money fights. Get out of there. Like what's to me? All I'm saying is Khabib. Look. We all know you need someone with extreme knockout power. Dustin doesn't have one punch KO. He's an accumulative striker. You need to drop Khabib like Chandler did Dan Hooker. That's the only way you're gonna put away Khabib. You're not gonna beat him up by lunging at him and cumulative.
Dude,
strikes.
I know.
You know why? Because Khabib will just take you down.
Yeah, and like I said, I completely agree. Chandler's your best bet to beat Khabib. 100%.
Because Charles Oliveira versus Khabib, I swear, I wouldn't even stream that match. I guarantee
come on.
I wouldn't even fucking watch it. It'd just be the most boring. Charles is like, okay, you're going to shoot? Am I going to shoot? You going to shoot? Am I going to shoot? You going to shoot? I'm going to shoot. You going to shoot? And it's just going to be.
But you can argue that that's going to be the most competitive match for Khabib. Most competitive match right now.
No one's on Khabib's level, though.
Yeah, but don't think about it in like pay-per-view buys or whatever. But like, it's either going to be Khabib or Chandler who are like the most ready to fight Khabib in terms of their wrestling credibility, right?
Let me ask you a question.
What's up?
Do you think the solution to Khabib is to take him down? So you think the best path
I don't think so.
Khabib is not knocking him out; it's taking him down.
No, I think the best recipe to beating Khabib is not taking him down, but being able to stop his takedowns.
It's exactly like I said earlier. It's being well-rounded in a fight game. It's being able to clip him while you're on your feet, being able to defend the takedown, and being able to survive the round that you get put on your back. That's what it is. That's the game.
Who's the better wrestler, Khabib or Kevin Lee?
Khabib.
Khabib.
Kevin Lee took down Oliveira multiple times. So what's your point?
Did he? Did they?
Yes.
Did Lee?
Yes,
Oh yeah,
he
actually he did. But Charles Oliveira is like a 3-time like degree black belt. Like he's like
I'm just saying Oliveira based on his recent performance. I know you thought he looked so bad against Ferguson, but he really did control that fight. And the reason that he wasn't able to put more damage on like you want is because that's what happened when two guys are at similar levels and one guy edges out another guy.
So you think he's gonna take down Khabib?
I didn't say that. I said it's.
So what do you think is going to happen? You think Khabib's going to take him down?
Because I know Oliveira can also strike, so he's a well-rounded fighter, and that's why he has the best chance to beat Khabib next to Chandler. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's my opinion.
We'll agree to disagree,
okay. Asher, I wanted to get your opinion. What do you think about Hooker throwing his gloves down after the match? Do you think he's going to retire from MMA?
Man, it's tough for Hooker, man, because if you think about it, like how many like this guy has had to fight and claw and try to get somewhere close to a title shot, and everybody knows like Hooker has no chance now to like be in the title conversation anytime soon. Yeah. Like he had a split decision against Felder, right? He lost to Dustin Poirier, and now he's lost to Michael Chandler. And like, you know, pretty much you could argue that his last 3 fights have been L's if you give the one to Felder, even though it was a split decision win for him. Like, I don't know where you go from here. So it's kind of hard because he has to scratch and claw. Like, he probably is gonna have to win at least 4 fights in a row now in order to get back to title conversation, unless so because it happens sometimes where fighters have put their gloves in the octagon and say I'm done, but then after like a few months, then they're kind of like, okay, no, I want to continue fighting again, right? But like, it may just have been an emotional decision.
So Hooker's a guy that I see with a pretty big frame for his weight class, and I don't know why, if he's in a premium division like that, like maybe he considers moving up a weight class and putting on some weight, seeing if he can take some mass gainer, like.
Oh, and
like that seems like a better. I don't know, if he seems pretty passionate about the sport and he's very talented, and if that's the premier division of the UFC, moving up a weight class can only benefit him.
Okay, so I'll ask this question, Asher, just as an analogy, and it's not completely correct, but think about it this way: would you say the best way to beat the most post-heavy team is to beat them in the post or shoot 3-point jumpers?
Let's not go to basketball because this is
no. Think about it logically, though, right? I'm
talking to the mic. I can't hear you clearly.
I'm talking about strategy, right? If you're facing the best team you've ever known at scoring in the post, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're telling me, this is this other team that's really good at scoring in the post, but they're not as good, but they have a really good chance of beating them because they're also really good at scoring in the post. Or would you say, a team that rips 3-point jumpers one day will beat that post team because there's a better chance of a 3-point jumper beating you than a 2-point jumper? Do you get what I mean? Like, statistically, if you take more threes, you should score more.
Yeah, somebody that has knockout power can probably KO Khabib if he has like zero wrestling. That's possible.
It's not even zero wrestling. You will never find a better wrestler than Khabib.
Yes, we all agree with that. We agree with that.
Why would you want a grappler? Defense. No, but listen, why would you want a grappler against the best wrestler we've ever seen? That's not.
So wait, so who are you saying at all? Who are you saying should fight?
Who's even come close to catching him in a submission, Dustin?
So who should he be?
But what we're about him being a grappler and a wrestler, you're going to need someone that is able to survive a minute, 2 minutes plus on their back with Khabib, on the ground with Khabib.
So a dominant position.
Khabib will get anyone down in a fight at some point.
Okay.
You need to be able to survive around with Khabib on the ground.
So, and I'm asking you this. So me surviving for 2 minutes and Khabib being in a dominant position for 5 straight rounds, that sounds interesting to you?
No, but I'm saying you need a guy that can get to that next round to get the chance to clip him and stand up and start that round on the feet. Otherwise, if you're taking a guy that with less of a less well-rounded MMA fighter, he's getting choked out, and what's going to happen like happened to Justin Gaethje. He was playing with him on the ground. He was choosing his submission, and he was a good wrestler, but I don't think Gaethje
Justin is not the best stand-up fighter.
Yeah, but he also didn't have the jiu-jitsu on the ground to last a round with Khabib on the ground.
The best chance to beat him is to not go to the ground at all and knock him out on his feet. You're not going to beat him on the ground. We all know that.
I know, but
you're not going to stifle his progress.
But you won't. But you give yourself a chance by surviving. That's all I'm saying.
So you'd rather see someone survive against Khabib versus someone actually threaten to knock him out. Charles is not.
What do you want to see? You want to see Khabib's 30th fight, the most entertaining fight in the world? Or do you want to see
just give him GSP?
Wait. Asher, you're saying something?
I was just saying, just give him GSP and let him retire. You know what I mean?
Yo, Asher, you know what, Asher? I can't with these.
No. Because at the end of the day, because reason why I'm saying that is that like people argue, why didn't they give it to Charles, man? Like, to be honest, Khabib should just fight till like he's what you call it? He should just fight till he's 32-0. Like, it could be, how old is Khabib? 33. Like, he's a youngish dude. He can keep going, right? Fight Chandler. Fight.
Like, what's the point of the GSP fight, man? GSP's never fought at 55 and he's 40. Like, really, that means something to you guys. Like, why does it mean something to you?
It doesn't mean much to me, but I'm just saying that, like, Khabib was saying earlier this week that he DM'd GSP and all this stuff and whatever.
Khabib can hold my nuts, bro.
But didn't that fight didn't it come up that it wasn't going to happen? Like, didn't Dana White come out and say they both said no to it, essentially?
Yeah, Dana White's not a fan of the fight. He doesn't want to see it. He doesn't care about that. But yeah, were you about to say something, Cooper?
No, you just asked you a question. You just answered it.
No. I thought like there was something on the tip of his tongue that he wanted to say after I responded. But yeah, man, I don't know. I guess we're gonna have to see. It's gonna those are the main three options. It's gonna be either Chandler, Oliveira, or Poirier. But
that's like saying, yo, dude, I really want to see a really good wrestler versus John Jones. Oh, really? Because you think a really good wrestler is going to be better than John Jones. Oh, I want to see a really good jiu-jitsu guy against John Jones. That's not the way you're going to beat him. The best way to beat John Jones is to knock him out. You're not going to be better than him at wrestling. Daniel Cormier, Olympic-level wrestler, better credentials than Jones, couldn't take him down. So your logic makes no sense. If Cormier, in a different weight class, wouldn't even take down the best wrestler.
We can continue arguing this until the cows come home, but that's just
exactly. Do you have trouble with this on the podcast? Daryl can never move on from a disagreement.
It's just we'll go for an hour. We can save the argument for a different episode, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much our wrap up for UFC 257. Shout out to Poirier and Michael Chandler. Maybe they'll fight each other next to see who gets. I don't know. We'll see what Dana. I'm sure Dana's going to do damage control. I wonder if Dana found that guy that he talked about that he would arrest the illegal streamer.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold back any charges. I'm finding every one of you. Then ESPN Plus crashed, and then everyone even went to the illegal streams anyway.
Yeah, I heard
infinite storylines in the UFC, dude. They're just plotting it out.
Yeah, Conor gets finished. Fucking Dustin's ass. Cooper wants to see do waste man fight Habib.
Do Bronx.
Don't cheese. Yeah, guys.
It was a sick card, guys. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you so much for tuning in. Follow us on @MMA Brothers Pod on Instagram. Cooper, thank you so much for coming in on the podcast today. I love the energy. I'm pretty sure people loved hearing your opinions. We should have you on more, man. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Next week we should have an interview with Adam Asenza. We're working out those details. Might be Tuesday. But yeah, looking forward to it. Obviously going to try and catch up with some of this post-fight press conference stuff that's going on. I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of material. We're going to keep posting on Instagram. Thank you for all the likes, the comments, and engagements, and the shares, guys. The page continues to grow. We're almost at 2,000 followers. That number is coming soon, probably in February.
You can find me in the comments section too.
Yeah, find him, Cooper Lamb. You be in the comments. So anyways, guys, thanks for listening. We'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Thanks for listening to the MMA Brothers Podcast. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, please give us a follow on our socials. You can check out a description of this episode for more, but don't forget to connect with us on Instagram @MMA Brothers Pod. We'll see you on the next episode.